Hey, what's up, guys? Raymaster Flex here. Now, I was thinking hard on if I wanted to do a Royal Rumble review, but I said to myself, even though I was happy with the winners of the Rumble matches respectively, I said to myself, nah, I don't think I was gonna do it because there was the title matches I was pretty disappointed with, but I found that the NXT video that I did was enough. So if you guys that haven't checked that out, make sure you check it out. But today I'm gonna actually do something different. Something that I hadn't done in a while. That doesn't get as much views, but we'll see where this goes about top fives or top ten. So I thought to myself, there's a couple of superstars that are still employed by WWE, and I just feel that it's just time for them to hang it up. And so this video is going to be the top five superstars that I feel needs to retire. At number five, I'm going to go Kurt Angle. He's the most recent one. The reason I picked him first is because number one, uh, we saw how Monday Night Raw, it seemed as if he was going to come out and actually make a retirement speech before he got interrupted by Baron Corbin, which led into a six-way tag team match, or led into, I think it was a tag team match at the end of the night with him and Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre is what it led to. And then Braun ended up getting disqualified for not being a legal man, which was like really stupid because we've seen that happen plenty of times. And he got disqualified for, so it had a really wacky ending here. But Kurt Angle, he said it many times. He's won a gold medal for broken freaking neck. Uh, you know, he's a former King of the Ring winner of 2000. He's won every championship that there is to win in WWE when he was a former European champion. He's a former tag team champion. He's a former WWE champion. He's a former world heavyweight champion. He's won everything there is and has done everything there is to do in WWE, which is why he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And when he first came back and wrestled at WWE last year at WrestleMania when he teamed with Ronda, that was a good match. And when he wrestled in Saudi Arabia for the Greatest Royal Rumble, he looked fine. But since then, you can tell that the age has really taken its toll on Kurt Angle, and it just looked like he can't. It just looks like, as much as people like to cheer for him and they like to, get up and clap for Kurt Angle and chant "You suck" as his theme song when he comes out, I really do think that angle Kurt Angle pulled on Raw should have been it for him. That should have been his retirement. I don't understand why they just had to have Baron Corbin come out and interrupt that, and to have Kurt Angle prove something as if he still has it, because quite frankly, I'm just gonna tell the honest truth. Kurt Angle at this point, he just needs to let it go. I don't get what they're doing with this whole thing with him and Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre, but Kurt Angle, he just needs to stop. He really does. Like I said, the man has nothing else to prove. It was nice to see him wrestle WrestleMania last year, teaming Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. That was a really good match. It was actually the match of the night in many people's eyes. So, you know, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Triple H had a lot to do with the booking with that match. But at the same time, I just think that Kurt Angle, he's just done. Like he really just needs to step aside and let the young stars rise. I mean, this is obviously doing absolutely nothing for Baron Corbin's career to keep feuding with Kurt Angle. I mean, I just don't see the point of this. Um, in my opinion, I just think Kurt, he just needs to the last week it shouldn't have been a tease. It should have been for real. He should have legitimately retired. Like that should have been it for him. Like he just there's just nothing left for him to do at this point. There's not a particular reason that he needs to keep wrestling. He just needs to hang it up and he just needs to retire. Hopefully, he does retire sooner than later because I mean, like I said, he's done it all, and not even just in WWE, but even in TNA. You know, he's won a lot of championships in TNA as well. So he's done it all. You know, he's done it all, and it's nothing left for him to really do. So, like I said, so number five, I'm gonna go with Kurt Angle because at this point, like I said, he's a former King of the Ring winner, WWE champion, tag team champion. Uh, had nearly the match of the year against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. A classic match with him, a classic match with Shane McMahon at King of the Ring 2001. You know, Kurt Angle, without a shadow of a doubt, there's a lot of history with him. He even had an incredible match against The Undertaker No Way Out 2006. So like I said, at this point, I just think he needs to hang it up. At number four, I'm going to go with the Big Show. The last time we seen the Big Show was in the fall of last year. First, he burst on the scene uh, at SmackDown 1000, where he turned heel for the 1000th time and helped the Bar reclaim the tag team titles and defeat the New Day to win the tag team titles at SmackDown 1000. And and then not long after they won the titles, the Big Show turned against the Bar um, in a backstage segment, which essentially turned Big Show babyface again, and then we just didn't see him again. Um, I, you know, with the Big Show right now, you know, he is in the best shape of his life, and there were rumors that he was actually initially supposed to retire. I think last year or 2017 was when his contract was going to be up, and he was supposed to retire then, but for some reason he hasn't. I mean, and then I'm hearing that he's back on the injured list. I mean, I just Big Show is the only person in history to win the WCW, ECW, and WWE championship respectively. Now, none of his title reigns lasted that long, especially his first title reign, in which that was when he defeated, I believe it was Triple H um, at Survivor Series 1999. That title reign was very short, and from there he just had a lot of short title reigns. Um, but you know, the Big Show has paved his way in the business. I think the only thing that killed the Big Show was that none of his title reigns were long, and then on top of that, not only was his title reigns not long, but then on top of that, you know, he had a lot of babyface and heel turns, and he had so many of them that you just didn't know what, you know, to say towards his character, whether to cheer for him or whether to boo to him. But you know, the Big Show has definitely played a huge role in WWE. Um, I think the Big Show, you know, I think he's another one that just needs to retire. I'm not sure why he didn't do that last year or in 2017. I mean, I think when he faced Braun in that steel cage match, that should have been it. When he went against Braun in that cage match and Braun put him through the cage after Braun beat him, I think that should have been it. I think that should have been kind of like the passing of the torch because when he came out, everybody was chanting, "Thank you, Big Show," as if he was leaving. And Him and Braun had a couple of encounters. They ended up breaking the ring, which at this point was the third time the Big Show broke the ring. He first broke the ring with Brock Lesnar in June of 2003. Then he broke it again with Mark Henry at Vengeance in 2011. And broke it for a third time with Braun Strowman in 2017. It's like, how many times are you going to keep repeating the same stunt over and over again? So he broke the ring with Braun Strowman, and then him and Braun ended up with this feud they had in 2017 that went all the way to the steel cage, which is when Braun power slammed the Big Show through the cage, and the Big Show, the Big Show at that point, that should have kind of been it for him. He could have just passed the torch right there. He could have just left. I don't know, man. I think to myself sometimes they should have the type of retirement where they actually come out and talk on the mic, and tell the world that they're going to retire. But we've seen how Mark Henry supposedly was going to do that in 2013, and then he ended up tricking the whole fans, and it turned out that it was just a setup for him to feud with John Cena for WWE Championship. So I don't know, man. I think that should have been it for the Big Show. It's sad that none of his title reigns lasted long, but he has paid his way with the company. I say he's the only person to be the WCW, ECW, and WWE champion. He defeated RVD to win the ECW championship in 2006. He won his last World Heavyweight Championship by defeating Sheamus. Won his first WWE Championship. Won his uh, second WWE Championship by defeating Brock Lesnar, which actually made him the first person to give Brock Lesnar a pinfall loss when he defeated him in Survivor Series in 2002. That was Brock Lesnar's first pinfall loss um, within the company at that time, I believe. So, you know, Big Show has definitely, like I said, he's definitely done a lot. Uh, he had a huge losing streak at WrestleMania, but he eventually defeated Cody Rhodes to win the IC title. He get his singles victory at WrestleMania. Uh, so he definitely, I think he definitely should just hang it up. He definitely at this point, I just don't think creatively they have anything left for him significantly to do. So it would only make sense if he just kind of, rest aside and, like I said, let the young guys go. I mean, the Big Show um, has been in so many feuds over the years, had so many face and heel turns. It's almost like you don't know when to cheer for him or when to boo him. And he, like I said, and he, the Big Show, he just needs to retire, man. He just needs to retire, give it up, let the young guys go. Same thing I said with Kurt Angle. It seems like he's getting injured more and more. He just needs to let it go, man. I mean, it's just nothing else for the Big Show to really have a purpose and being there at this point. I mean, really, there's no other reason for him to be here. So at number three, I'm going to go with Triple H. Now, you may be wondering why I would put Triple H on this list, considering the fact that Triple H is in really good shape and everything. Kind of similar to the Big Show. Triple H is in really good shape, and he, by him being a part timer, most of his matches now that he have are quite decent that he put together. Like the mixed tag team match with Ronda Rousey, uh, where he teamed with his wife Stephanie against Ronda and Kurt Angle. It was the match of the night for WrestleMania last year. But I just personally think that even though Triple H is doing an excellent job with NXT, and and he's even doing some booking with 205 Live. I think he just needs to stick with that. Like, I don't think every single year Triple H needs to consistently insert himself into a WrestleMania match every single year. I mean, I think at this point, Triple H just kind of needs to put it aside. And like I said, I get that the man is still in good shape. I get that, by him being a part time, he's got these type of qualities for him. But I just don't see a reason of why he should be wrestling at all. I mean, you're doing so well with 205 Live, even though a lot of people don't really tune into 205 Live, but you're doing so well with the booking 205 Live. You're doing a great job at NXT. Just stick with that and just let the young guys wrestle. I just don't get. Of course, you got some guys who are older, still in the company, who came late in the company. But as far as the guys like the guys on this list I'm naming, who's been in the company for a long time, I just don't get why they can't just for once get out of the spotlight. And to me, I just think Triple H just needs to get out of the spotlight. He just needs to get out of the spotlight and for once just step aside in full and just end his full duties as a wrestler and just stick with running NXT at 205 Live. It's not that it's gonna hurt anything for him to not wrestle because he only wrestles like maybe once a year or twice a year. It really depends on him because unlike the Undertaker, Triple H, you know, he doesn't necessarily wrestle once a year. Sometimes he might wrestle more than once a year. Like take for example, I'm pretty sure he had a lot to do with the booking of winning the Royal Rumble in 2016 when he won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in 2016, which I believe made him a 14-time World Heavyweight Champion at the Royal Rumble because it was for the title when they advertised it as one versus all back when Roman was the champion. And I'm pretty sure he had a lot to do with the booking of that. But that wasn't the only match that Triple H put himself in. Obviously, he faced Roman at WrestleMania that year, but he also faced Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Roadblock. And he even faced Dolph Ziggler for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on an episode of Raw. So for Triple H, I can't necessarily say that, he's the type that's going to just wrestle once a year because you never really know with Triple H. It just all depends on him. He might wrestle twice a year. He might wrestle 3 times a year. It really just all depends on Triple H. Uh, he even wrestled last year was probably the most time Triple H has wrestled in quite some time because first he wrestled at WrestleMania. Then he wrestled at the Greatest Royal Rumble because he faced John Cena. Then he wrestled at Super Showdown against The Undertaker in Marlborough, Australia. Then he wrestled at Crown Jewel, and which is when he got injured, which is a sign that he just needs to stop because he ended up tearing it of a quad. And keep in mind, the first quad he tore was in 2001. Then he tore his other quad in 2007. And this is like the third time he's tore a quad. So if that's not a sign that he needs to retire, I don't know what is. That was the last official match he had was at Crown Jewel, in which, in my mind, was certainly not a good match. So if that's the way that his last match is going to go, so be it. But I think Triple H needs to stick with running NXT, stick with running 205 Live, and hopefully in the future he could take over the whole company. But that's a whole nother story to talk about. That's not what this video focuses on. But as it pertains to him wrestling, I just think even though he is in great shape, and it's not like, he's in bad shape or anything, other than the fact that he's injured. I don't know how long his injury is supposed to be, or if it's fully finished at this point. I think it is, but either way, I just think he just needs to give it up. Obviously, Triple H believes that he still, wants to keep going for the next couple of years, but I just think guys around his age, you know, I just think they just need to step aside. You know, get out of the limelight. You don't have to be in every single WrestleMania at this point in your career. Triple H has won every championship there is to win in a company, nearly. You know, he has no other reason of really um, needing to continue wrestling at this point. He's won the Royal Rumble twice, 2002 and 2016. And he's one of very few wrestlers to do that. So, like I said, Triple H, he I just think he just needs to retire, and he just needs to give everybody else, give the young people a chance. And number two, I'm going to go with Kane. Now, obviously, Kane is the mayor of Tennessee right now, or something like that. Uh, and he came back to. First, he came back to side with his brother. The first time he came back was actually to team up with Daniel Bryan, reform TNO, which basically was a fail because, they lost, and it was kind of obvious. And they had him, get injured, quote unquote, before the match even started. And, he barely did much in the match. And next thing you know, they end up losing to the Pleasure Brothers for the tag team titles. Then he came back to side with Undertaker at Super Showdown in Marlborough, Australia, which was completely pointless because he basically barely did anything in the match or to help his brother at all. And then at Crown Jewel, which was the last time we seen Kane, um, again, just a really, really bad match for a lot of reasons. Even though this was Shawn Michaels' returns match, uh, this was definitely not a good way for Shawn Michaels to come back. It was just a lot of things wrong with this match, a bunch of botches, just so many. There was just a lot wrong with it. You could just tell that in this match, that everybody in the match just needs to retire. All four of them do. You could just tell. I think Shawn Michaels should just stay retired. I'm not really gonna put the blame on him in this match, but it was very bad. In my opinion, anyways. But Kane, at one point he set the record for having the most eliminations in 2001 when he eliminated 11 people at that Royal Rumble. Um, he had the fastest pin, one of the fastest pins at WrestleMania 2008 when he defeated Chavo Guerrero at ECW for the ECW Championship. Kane has centered himself as the devil's favorite demon, uh, and he he Kane again, someone who's got nothing left to prove. I mean, I fell in love with his old theme song, Slow Chemical, which is when he was burning people on fire. It's when he burned JR, when he, tortured Shane McMahon. Um, had a good feud with Shane McMahon. When he unmasked in 2003, it was the highest ratings that they ever got when he took his mask off. And then from there, he choke slammed RVD. Then the next Raw, he choke slammed uh, Eric Bischoff. I mean, Kane has had so many horrific moments throughout the years. It's just ridiculous, of all the things that he's done. But Kane, at this point, like I said, that gimmick that he's been doing for so long is the Big Red Machine, it's died down. It's ran its course, and he just needs to. Again, this is another guy who just needs to retire. Kane has nothing left to prove. The only thing Kane never won was the Royal Rumble. He never was a Royal Rumble winner, which is the same thing for Kurt Angle. But at this point, he most definitely wouldn't win a Rumble. But Kane was never a Royal Rumble winner, but he did have the most eliminations at one point in 2001, and he even had eliminated Santino in the 2009 Royal Rumble and gave him one of the shortest lengths of being in the Rumble's match. So, Kane, like I said, has done so many things within the years. Feuded with his brother The Undertaker, faced his brother twice at WrestleMania, faced his brother in 2004 WrestleMania 20, faced him at WrestleMania 14, 1998, burst on the scene at the Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in 1997 and broke the door off the cell, burst in there, tombstone The Undertaker to help Shawn Michaels retain his WWF Championship. Kane has nearly done everything in this business to the point where, with him doing running for mayor and being the mayor and everything, it's legitimately no reason of why Kane needs to wrestle anymore. None at all. I mean, I always found Kane to be a little underrated because a lot of times I think people focus so much on The Undertaker that, uh, they don't look at the accomplishments that Kane has established in his career. I mean, Kane has established just as much as The Undertaker has. He's established, just as much. Like I said, he burnt JR on fire. Um, he made Shane McMahon's life live in hell. Gave Shane McMahon some incredible matches at Unforgiven 2003 and Survivor Series 2003. Um, you know, he's had so many things that he's done over the years, and it's crazy when you think about it. Kane, he won his first WWF championship from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and only held it for one night when they had a First Bloods match. He held it for one night and dropped the belt the next night on Raw, and won the World's Heavyweight Championship from Rey Mysterio years later. Uh, he's done a lot, man. He's done a hell of a lot. He was never a Money in the Bank winner. He was never a Rumble winner. But again, he again has played a huge role in the business. Um, you know, he had an incredible feud with Matt Hardy in 2004, where he basically tortured Matt Hardy and ended up getting Alita. Before the whole angle where it appeared that Edge actually was with Lita in real life and she was cheating on Matt Hardy. But that's a whole other story. Um, so he he's done it. Kane has done it all, man. That man, he just needs to retire, and I don't know if he's gonna legitimately come out in the ring and do it, or if this is gonna just be one of those things where they say that it was announced that Kane retired from WWE. I mean, because I'm again, why are you still wrestling? It's just the thing. I don't know. I don't know. And number one, obviously, The Undertaker. I'm gonna be honest here. Some people may not agree with me with this, but The Undertaker's last match should have been against Roman Reigns when he lost him. When he lost to Roman Reigns and appeared as if he was retiring, that should have been his last match. Regardless of what anyone tells me, I truly think that should have been his last match. And let me explain why. Because number one, The Undertaker, since that match, has proven that, he's gotten even slower in the ring. At that time, the whole purpose of them advertising that match as Undertaker retirement match was because he needed hip surgery. And they figured that after he got the hip surgery and he came back, he was going to be bigger and stronger than ever. Now, when he faced Cena and squashed him last year, it looked like he was in good shape. When he faced Rusev at the Greatest Royal Rumble last year, it looked like he was in good shape. But then, when he faced Triple H in Marlborough, Australia, that's where you started to see that Taker is done. The Undertaker has been in the business for over 27 years, 27 to 28 years since Survivor Series in 1990. He is the only superstar where even when WCW and ECW were a thing, who did not jump ship. He stayed with the company all the way through. And there were recent rumors that he had recently deleted or took WWE references off his social media, but then there's some people who say that uh, they were never there in the first place. But the Undertaker has been in a company for a long, long time. And again, the biggest thing Taker had was his undefeated streak at WrestleMania. The Undertaker was 21-0 before he lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, which some people even thought that should have been his last match. But he didn't stop there. Eventually, Taker got revenge on Brock Lesnar, beat him in a controversial match at SummerSlam 2015. Then faced him again at Hell in a Cell. Then that same year, he teamed with his brother Kane against the Wyatt family after they attacked him after he lost to Brock Lesnar at Hell in a Cell. Um, and that year he wrestled 3 times that year. Last year he wrestled 4 times. And after his match at both Super Showdown and Crown Jewel, you could obviously tell that The Undertaker is pretty much done at this point. And I hope that he is finally going to retire. He won the Royal Rumble in 2007. Again, had one of the greatest undefeated streaks of all time in WrestleMania, was 21-0. He's had many mind games. He's played against guys over the years. He is one of the greatest of all time. And like I said before, The Undertaker, he has nothing left to prove. He won his first WWF championship when he defeated Hulk Hogan in 1991. Didn't win the second WWF championship until about 4 to 5 years later in 1997 when he defeated Psycho Sid in the main event of WrestleMania 13. He had a classic feud with Stone Cold. He was the man who looked as if he was going to rise and possess Stephanie McMahon doing the whole Vince thing with him messing with Stephanie and all that. You know, Taker Taker has really been in every epitome and has played every role he could take. And over the years, He's taken so much abuse and so many injuries that have taken him out that Taker is finished. He's had so many gimmick changes. You know, from the time that he first burst on the scene in 1990 um, to when he was uh, with the Ministry of Darkness to when he came back as the American Badass after his injury and missed out on WrestleMania 2000. He's really again achieved it all. And Taker, you know, again, he has nothing. He has nothing else to prove at all. Um, he's won every championship, the hardcore title, the WF title, the World's Heavyweight title, the tag team titles, every single title you can name. Was never a Money in the Bank winner, but Kane was. Forgot to mention, Kane actually did win the Money in the Bank. Kane won the Money in the Bank in 2010. Undertaker was never a Money in the Bank winner, but he was a Royal Rumble winner in 2007. Went on to defeat Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship that year, in which 2007 was perhaps the best shape the Undertaker had ever looked. Taker has literally achieved everything you can imagine. Had a 5-star match with Shawn Michaels in 2 WrestleManias in a row. Had an incredible match with Triple H at WrestleMania. Uh, both at WrestleMania 27 and 28. Match a year for WrestleMania 28. Match a year for WrestleMania 26 and 25 with Shawn Michaels. Had a great match with Edge at WrestleMania. The Undertaker, he's even had some significant Hell in a Cell matches that he's been involved in as well. Who can ever forget when he chokeslammed Edge through the mat? Had the fire come out. SummerSlam 2008. Had a great match with Shawn Michaels, even with Kane interfering in the match and tombstoning him. You know, Taker is no stranger to those stipulations. Even with Triple H earlier when I mentioned him, he was actually undefeated at one point in Hell in a Cell until he got beat by Batista. Triple H defeated the likes of Cactus Jack and Chris Jericho and Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels before he eventually had his first defeat against Batista in the Hell in a Cell match. Undertaker, again, one of the greatest of all time, has no reason at all to be step foot into that ring. And with that being said, Taker is the number one person who I believe, with the fact of him taking away the references of WWE that I've recently heard and everything else I've heard, Taker, this needs to be it. There's no advertisement for him to wrestle WrestleMania this year. And again, I believe that his last match should have been at WrestleMania when he lost to Roman Reigns because of the way that ended the match and took his gloves off, took his hat off and everything, had people crying in the crowd. I mean, that's kind of why it pissed me off when he came back and faced John Cena, because it's like, what was the purpose of doing all that? Why make that scene just to come back a year later and face John Cena? It basically made that whole moment seem completely pointless. The fact that they had Taker do all that just for him to come back and face John Cena made all of that seem pointless. It literally made the whole thing seem pointless. Some people just cannot let go of the past. But the man is done. And that's what this video is about. It's about everybody on this list are guys who they're just done. Even Triple H, a man who's still in incredible shape, I just think he just needs to get out the spotlight for once and give the young guys a chance to shine. Get out the spotlight, give the young guys a chance to shine. Continue to run NXT, continue to run 205 Live, but you do not have to be on. You do not have to wrestle at WrestleMania every single year. So far, I have not seen any build up to him wrestling at WrestleMania this year, um, which is a good thing because I don't think he needs to wrestle WrestleMania this year. And Kurt Angle, like I said, it seemed like he was going to retire um, on Raw, but then he ended up not doing it because they had Baron Corbin come out and interrupt him. But he really does need to retire because, I mean, what is there really left for Kurt Angle to do? You could just see it in his wobbly legs that Kurt Angle can barely stand at this point. Um, with the abuse that he's taken over the years and so many of his matches. Um, and then you have, like I said, the Big Show, who this is a man who's won a WWE, WCW, ECW, WWF championship, the only man in history to win all three titles. It basically was a transitional champion who didn't keep none of his titles for a long period of time, none of his major titles for a long period of time. Even some of his shorter titles he didn't keep for a long period of time, even like the tag team titles and the Intercontinental title, because he dropped that title a month later to Cody Rhodes after he won the belt, and even the United States title he didn't hold for a long time because we dropped it to John Cena at WrestleMania 20. Um, had a Super Wrestling match where he got embarrassed at WrestleMania 21. Um, but even for him, the Big Show, another guy who once again has no other reason to be there. Like he just needs to leave. He should have. He just needs to retire. He should have actually retired when his contract was going to be up, which was actually supposed to be like February of last year, February 2017. That should have been his retirement there. But I just don't know what it is with these guys, man. Um, that's what this video is all about. Every last one of them needs to retire. Kane definitely needs to hang it up. You could just tell after their crown jewel match that he just had nothing left in the tank. Kane has gotten more slower and slower in the ring. And the fact that him and Taker's got this big gut now, it just makes things even worse. It just makes it look like two grandpas trying to wrestle, like nothing but grandpas wrestling in the ring now with all these guys. It's just it's sad, but I've got nothing but respect for all of them, but I do think that they just all need to hang it up. Taker definitely should have just left in 2017. That should have actually been his last match. There was no need for him to come back. After he got the hip surgery, he should have just been done. I don't really get the point of him coming back and then having four matches last year, especially the Super Showdown Crown Jewel matches. Those are just uh, really. The Crown Jewel match was horrible. The the one at Super Showdown, it wasn't good, but it wasn't like terrible. It was just very slow paced, and it was slow paced because of you got two guys, one that's already in his 50s and one that's about to be 50 soon, wrestling off against each other. So you can expect for the match to be slow paced. So it's just they're just not in. The only person out of this whole list that's still in shape is Triple H, but I still think he needs to retire as a wrestler. But obviously, Taker's not in good shape at this point. Neither is Kane. Neither's Big Show was in good shape, but I still think he needs to retire. And yeah, so that's pretty much this whole video is about, guys. I just really want to do a video about this because there's some guys in the company right now who I just don't understand why they're still here. Uh, you can make an argument that there's some other guys that need to retire. They're still in the business. You could even make an argument that age doesn't really matter, but that also depends on how you take care of yourself. And with these guys, you can obviously see that it's taken the toll on them over these years with all the suffering and injuries that they've had. You could really see that it's taken a toll on them when it comes to their matches. whenever they're in the ring. And the Undertaker is one of those guys who I feel as though if he continues to wrestle, he's just gonna collapse at this point with the way that he is. And even with Kane, the same thing. I mean, Kane just looks so out of it now. Um, a guy his size could just do so many things. A clothesline for the top rope. He just so many things Kane used to do for a man his size. Um, even for the Undertaker, for that matter, and you don't see them do these things anymore. You could tell that the age has really taken its toll. Even at one point, Undertaker used to do the old school a lot. It's just something you can tell that doesn't take its toll. It's not, even though age doesn't matter, it all depends on how you take care of yourself, and that's all I can say about that. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up right here. Uh, I have been still keeping up with the main rosters and everything, so I don't really know what the next video I'll do will be about that, but we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. So, sign off, Ray Master Flex. Um, Let me know what you guys think about these guys who should retire this year, no later, no less. Um, and I'll probably do a video at some point about some guys that I think should be inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, which probably will retain to some of the guys on this list. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, sign up, Ravens Flex. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys another day. Peace.